A buyer can decide your home feels neglected before ever seeing the nicest room in your house. That sounds harsh, but it happens quickly. They pull up, look at your yard, glance at the walkway, notice the front door, and start building a story in their head. Maybe the story is, this feels clean and cared for. Another home creates a different reaction. A buyer sees dirty siding, tired mulch, overgrown shrubs, leftover winter debris, dim lighting, and a front entry that feels forgotten. Settling, that showing starts with doubt. The kitchen now has to work harder. The living room has to overcome the outside. Even good updates inside can lose impact because the buyer arrived already wondering what else has been overlooked. That is why curb appeal matters so much when you sell. It is not about making your home look expensive. A stronger goal is making buyers feel confident before walking in. Confidence changes how people tour homes. They slow down, they pay close attention, the property feels easier to trust. So I want to give you 5 curb appeal tips that actually matter for Twin Cities sellers, especially with the way Minnesota seasons can make homes look completely different from one month to the next. Before we get into the first one, think about your own home from buyer's point of view. If someone pulled up today, would the outside make them curious to see more, or would it quietly make them cautious? Number 1, clean up the evidence of the season. Minnesota leaves clues on a property. Winter leaves salt, grime, dead landscaping, dirty walkways, snow piles, broken branches, and tired looking entry areas. Spring can bring mud, soggy beds, old leaves, and a yard that's not fully woken up yet. Summer makes overgrowth obvious. Fall can bury a good looking home under leaves, sticks, dark corners faster than sellers expect. That seasonal evidence can make a home feel less maintained even when the house itself is in good shape. So before you think about adding anything new, remove the seasonal lift behind. Clear the walkway, clean the steps, sweep the porch, cut back anything that looks messy. Get rid of leaves, dead plants, broken pots, tangled hoses, and anything sitting near the house that does not need to be there. That matters because buyers are not only looking at beauty, they are looking for signs of care. A clean exterior tells them the home has been washed over. A messy approach makes them wonder whether the same pattern continued inside. That thought may not be fair, but it is real. Curb appeal is partly about removing doubt before it forms. A buyer should not be thinking about salt stains, dead shrubs, a clustered porch corner while waiting to enter the home. They should be thinking, this feels ready. That feeling is worth protecting. Number 2, make the front entry pass the waiting test. The front door area matters because buyers spend time there. They are not walking past it in half a second. The agent is opening the lockbox. Someone may be checking showing instructions. A buyer might stand there looking around while the door is unlocked. That little pause can help you or hurt you. If the entry looks clean, bright, and cared for, that showing starts well. When the door is scuffed, the glass is dirty, the mat is worn out, the light fixture is dusty, or the trim looks forgotten, buyers start noticing maintenance before they even get inside. The fix does not need to be complicated. Wash the door, clean the glass, replace the tired doormat, check the porch light, look at the house numbers, touch up obvious chip paint if it stands out, move anything from the entry that makes the space feel crowded. A simple entry usually photographs better too. That matters because buyers often meet your home first online. The front door photo should not feel busy, dark, or neglected. It should make the home look easy to approach. Some sellers over-decorate the area because they want it to feel warm. That can backfire. Too many personal items, signs, planters, chairs, or seasonal pieces can make the entry feel smaller and more distracting. A buyer should notice the home before they notice your decoration. The front entry does not need a personality makeover. It needs to feel clean, safe, and ready for someone new. If you're thinking about selling, stand at your front door later today and look around for 30 seconds. The things that bother you from that spot will probably bother a buyer too. Stop landscaping from competing with the house. Landscaping should frame the home, not fight with it. That is one of the easiest places for sellers to miss the mark. A shrub might have been small when it was planted, but now it blocks the window. A tree branch may be hanging too low over the walkway. Flower beds can start looking tired if mulch has faded, weeds have been taken over, or plants from the previous seasons are still sitting there. Buyers may not know exactly why the house feels less inviting, they just feel it. The goal is to help the home breathe. Trim shrub away from the window, open up the walkway, refresh beds that look flat or messy. Remove dead plants before they become part of the first impression. Keep your yard simple enough that the buyers can see the shape of your home. This becomes especially important in Twin City neighborhoods with older homes and mature trees. Mature landscaping can be beautiful. It can also make the exterior feel dark, smaller, and more closed off when it's not maintained. You do not want buyers wondering whether the yard is going to become a project. A clean yard makes the home feel more manageable. That is valuable because the sellers are not only competing against other homes, they are competing against the buyer's fear on taking on too much. Landscaping should reduce the fear. When the outside feels controlled, the home feels easier to own. Number 4, make the exterior look maintained, not just pretty. A pretty exterior photo helps, but a maintained exterior creates trust. Those are not the same thing. Buyers will forgive a home that is not flashy. They are less forgiving when the outside suggests neglect. Dirty siding, clogged gutters, peeled trim, loose railings, damaged screens, cracked steps, and a garage door covered in grime can all create a quiet concern. Nobody has to say it out loud. The buyer's already thinking, if this is what I can see, what am I not seeing? That is a thought you want to avoid. Before listing, pay attention to the exterior item that suggests maintenance. Clean sidings where needed. Check gutters from the ground if they are visibly full or sagging. Look at the porch railings. Notice the condition of the steps. Review the garage door because it often takes up more visible space than the seller realizes. Window glasses matter too, especially when photos are being taken. This does not mean every seller needs to replace everything. A home can show age and still feel cared for. The difference comes down to whether the buyer believes the house has been maintained responsibly. Fresh paint is one obvious thing that can help. A simple repair near the entry may prevent a larger concern from forming. Cleaning the exterior surface can do more than adding a new decor. A seller's best curb appeal moves is often not adding beauty. It is removing reasons for doubt. If you were touring a home, what would make you hesitate faster? Messier landscaping, a worn front door, dirty siding, or dark entry? Put your answer in the comments because sellers usually underestimate how much buyers notice before the showing officially starts. Number 5, make the home feel good in Minnesota light. Lighting is one of the most underrated curb appeal pieces in Minnesota. The outside of the home can feel completely different depending on the season, the time of day, and the weather. A listing in June gets more help from natural light. Late fall, winter, and early spring can make the same property feel darker, colder, or less inviting if the exterior lighting is weak. That does not mean you need dramatic lighting everywhere. Start with the places buyers actually notice. The porch light should work. Garage lights need to be checked. Walkway lighting should make the approach feel safer if the showings happen later in the day. Fixtures should be clean enough that they do not make the home look older than it is. Mismatched bulbs can make the entry feel off even if the buyers cannot explain why. Lighting matters for another reason too. A well-lit exterior makes the home feel more welcoming during the season when buyers may already be dealing with cold, snow, clouds, and shorter days. The home feels easier to approach. The first feeling can shape the rest of the showing. Sellers often focus on daylight photos, but buyers may not tour in perfect conditions. A showing after work in November is not the same as a Saturday afternoon in July. The home should still feel prepared. Good lighting helps bridge that gap. Details sellers usually miss. There is one curb appeal detail sellers often miss because they are used to seeing their home every day. The driveway and the garage area can influence the entire first impression. In many Twin City homes, especially suburban properties, the garage is a huge part of what the buyer sees first. If the garage door is dirty, dent, faded, or surrounded by cluster, the front of the home can feel less polished. The driveway works the same. Oil stains, weeds and cracks, old leaves, toys, bins, tools, and random outdoor items can make the property feel busier than it need to be. A buyer may not care about the driveway itself. They do care about the feeling it creates. Clean and simple usually wins. Move bins out of sight when possible. Put away extra items before photos. Sweep and blow off the driveway and walkway. Clean the garage area so the house looks intentional from the curb. This is especially useful when the home itself has a strong future. You do not want cluster pulling attention away from the exterior. Let the house be the focus. Curb appeal should match the buyer's expectation. The sellers do not need to make every home luxury. That would be unrealistic and unnecessary. The outside should match the expectation created by the price, neighborhood, and the listing strategy. A first-time buyer home can feel clean, warm, and approachable. A move-up home should feel more polished because buyers are usually expecting a stronger presentation. A higher price listing needs exterior details that support the confidence before the buyer walks in. This is not about pretending the home is something else. It's about moving distractions that weaken the buyer's first impression. A buyer should not think about maintenance before they see the layout. They should not be distracted by cluster before they notice the yard. The exterior should help the home feel easier to trust. That is the real purpose of curb appeal. Not decoration, not perfection, trust. When the buyers trust the outside, they walk inside with a better mindset. What would I prioritize first? If a seller asked me where to start, I would not begin with expensive updates. I would begin with the parts that buyers see before they touch the door. Clear their approach, freshen the entry, trim landscaping that block the home, clean exterior surface that make the property feel tired, check lighting for evenings or cloudy days showings, handle small visible repairs near the front. After that, step back and look again. The home should feel clean, calm, and more cared for. That is usually enough to change the way buyers arrive. Curb appeal works best when it feels natural. A home that looks overly staged outside can feel forced. A property that feels clean and cared for gives buyers room to imagine themselves there. That is what they want. Curb appeal matters because buyers begin forming an opinion before the showing really starts. They notice the arrival, they pause at the entry, they read the landscape. They react to lighting, cleanliness, and maintenance clues. In Minnesota, the seasons add another layer because snow, salt, leaves, mud, overgrowth, and short daylight can all change how a home feels from the curb. The good news is that most sellers do not need a huge exterior project. They need focused prep. Clean up with the season left behind, make the front entry feel ready, let the landscaping frame the house, remove visible maintenance distractions, use lighting to make the home feel more welcoming. Those changes help buyers walk in with more confidence. If you're thinking about selling in the Twin Cities and you want to know which prep items are worth doing before photos, feel free to reach out. This is the kind of planning that can make the listing process feel much less overwhelming. And if you want more seller tips, Twin City real estate advice, and practical guidance for preparing your home, make sure you subscribe. I will keep helping you understand what buyers notice before they ever say it out loud.